Hi, everybody. This is Virginia Milner back with back for the Decatur DeKalb. Did I say the DeKalb County Public Library with another video, another jewelry making video. And before we get started, I'm going to show you my shirt. Because we always have a ta-da moment. Friends of mine have said you ought to just make it your catchphrase, just embrace it and just go with it, because I'm always trying to keep myself from saying it. So I gave up. Ta-da! Here's my shirt. Friend of mine made it for me. There's my little wand. This side. There's my little wand and my necklace that we make. And earrings, jewelry with Jen. Ta-da! Okay, good. So hopefully I've gotten that out of my system so we can get to work. Get up there. And we are celebrating the National Cherry Blossom Festival. It's almost over. I think we have 3 weeks and we're down to the 3rd week by the time this airs. So I thought we would make a nice cherry blossom cuff bracelet. This is what we're making today. Very pretty, I think. Pretty, colorful. Got our little vines, got our little cherry blossoms, all different colors. Well, 3 different colors. I'm doing today's, we're going to do it in red, scarlet red, blush pink, and clear crystal. It's another one of those that's so simple because you only need your beads, your wire, and jump rings. That's it. We need 2 kinds of wire for the main branches and the main part of the bracelet. We'll be using 24, or you can use up to 28 gauge. So 24, 26, 28, because we're going to be twisting it, and that's going to lend some stability to it, make it a little stiffer, but still flexible enough so that it looks like real vines. Yeah, pretty. And then we're going to make our own little clasp on the back, and then we're going to use 20 gauge wire for that. We're using 4 millimeter crystal beads, and you can decide how big your clusters how big you want your clusters to be. I'm going to make 4 bead clusters in each one of these, and let's go. Let's get started. It's a fun project. I really enjoy it. Saw something like it years ago for a necklace. I think it was just actually, I think we did it. It was a necklace, and I may have seen some form of a bracelet, but that's what we're doing today. We're going to do Japanese cherry blossoms into a cuff bracelet. So let's get down to the right camera and let's get rolling. So the tools that you'll need are your basic ones, are round nose pliers, flat or square or chain nose pliers, anything with a square head, and our cutters. I'm using closed bronze colored jump rings, but if you can't find those, it's fine to use just regular jump rings or split rings. And again, I'm using the red, the pink, and the clear 4 millimeter crystal rondelles. And the 24 gauge wire, you're going to need about 2 yards of that. This is not a completely, it's a cuff, so it has a little space in the back for your clasp, and it just depends on how many beads you want, how many cherry blossoms you want on your cuff. But I would not go with less than 2 yards of 24 gauge wire to start this, just so you have plenty. If you have too much, you can always cut it off. But once you've done it once or twice and determine how much you need, you can streamline the amount that you use. So I've cut off 2 yards of this. It keeps going and going and going and going and going. 2 yards of 24 gauge wire in order to get started with my vines. So the first thing I do is fold it in half, put my ends together, and make a little loop on the other side, right here in the center. So what I'm going to do is twist this together. Now, here's where you can decide whether or not you actually want to put a jump ring on. You can add a jump ring for if you think you're going to need additional chain-like effect, or you can just hook it into the loop that we're about to make. That's what I did on this one. It works just fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put my wires together, and I'm going to twist it to form a loop in the center here. So I've got my 2 wires together. I'm going to give it what's called an electrician's twist, and that's holding both of your wires and twisting both of your wires. You don't want to wrap one around the other. And so there's a loop. You give it another twist. Doesn't have to be too large. And so there's my loop that I'm going to use for my clasp. Okay, so this is going to be the original stem that I start with. So this is a stem. So I'm going to split my 2 wires, and I'm going to fold one of the wires in half and twist it to form my flower. So what I want to do is pick a color, have my beads. See how I keep, it's so long. I'm going to put 4 of my crystals on. And again, you can make it 4, you can make it 5, you can make it 6. You can use smaller crystals if you want to and make a bunch of little petals. The 4mm makes a nice, come on, get on there, a nice flower with lots of bold color. I already put one on. No, 1, 2, 3, and one more. Let that drop all the way down to where my vine is. And I'm going to slide the beads up until I just have about a little less than ½ an inch, because I want vines, but I want them to be a little bit close together so I have a lot of color. So I've got a little less than ½ an inch, maybe ½ an inch. I'm going to fold over my beads, fold it in half, like so. Bring those ends together until they cross over. And then I'm going to twist. I'm going to twist the wire. And again, we're using the electrician's twist. So I'm holding both of my wire and twisting both of them together until I reach the original vine. So there we are. And I'm going to bring this down just a little so you can see a little bit better what we're doing here. So there's one flower. And then I'm going to go to the other one. And people always say, how do you remember which one? Well, one of them is going to be shorter than the other. So this one's longer. So that's obviously the one that I haven't put a flower on yet. Okay. So now I'm going to put flowers on, and you can alternate it. You can make the same, you can do the same color twice and then switch to another color. It's entirely up to you how you want to do it. I just kind of went rogue. I'm going to put 4 more beads, whatever color I want. You can choose a color that you want to be the majority of your piece. Okay. And again, I'm going to go out about half an inch, fold over, bring my beads together, cross my wire over, and twist. Until I get to the other wire. So there's my first set of beads for my flower. Right there. Over. And now I'm going to take the 2 wires and I'm going to twist them together to make another branch. So I'm just going to twist those together, create another branch. And you can decide how close together you want them to be. You can make them closer together, further apart. The branches do not need to be the same length because it's a tree. So it's going to be very random. I think I'm going to go with pink again. Choose your colors any way you want your tree to look, your branches to look. Come on, get on there. There we go. One more. All right. Give myself that ½ inch. Bend it over. Bring my wires together. I want to make it a little smaller distance this time. Again, your branches do not need to be the same length apart each time. Okay, let's twist. Okay, and then what I can do, once I get my branches done, then you start to kind of shape them the way you want them to go, like that. Okay. Let's go over to the next one. And again, you can check, make sure that you're doing the right branch. Whichever one is the longest should be the next one. There we go. And let's plug another red one in there. I love red. Red is one of my favorite colors. Actually, it's my favorite color. It almost, well, no, it doesn't dominate this one, but it really, really pops a lot. And I just absolutely love it. Okay, let my beads fall down. Give myself my ½ inch, fold it over. You can do a ½ inch. You can make your vines or your branches as long or as short as you want. Just depends on the look that you're going for. And again, they really should not be the exact same length each, because again, it's supposed to be a natural, it's a tree. They're branches. They're supposed to have some mystery, something different going on. Okay. Ooh, pretty. Okay, now I'm going to twist the two together again, the two wires. Give myself another branch. The branches are what give you the length that you need. Okay. And where are we? Now, both of my branches are about the same length. So I think I'm gonna, what color do I want this time? I think I'm gonna do a clear one, just for something different. So 1, 2, 3, 4, drop it down, give myself an inch or ½ an inch, quarter of an inch, your choice. Depends on the look that you're going for. If you want your blossoms to be closer together, you don't have to extend your branches out so far. Okay, twist. Now, the one thing you want to make sure of when you're twisting is that you're not twisting all in the same place, because it's like an apple core. If you twist an apple core all in one place, what happens? Eventually the stem breaks. And that's the exact same thing that could happen here. And you really don't want that to happen. Okay. Twist these two together a little bit and make another. See, it's starting to go down the way I want. I'm going to put a red one on here inside. Where am I? Lengthwise. Okay, here we go. Yes, that's where I want the red one to go. After you've done a couple of inches of length, you'll be able to see your pattern, if there is one, even if it's a kind of a random pattern, which this is. You'll be able to get an idea of how you're going here, how it's going to turn out. So let me see, ½ an inch, fold it over, and twist away. Just twisting, twisting, and twisting. Nice. And over here, I think I'll put a pink one. Oops, come back. Two. 3, 4, fold it over. Yes. Twist my wires and twist. Okay, let's create another branch here. As the wire gets shorter, it'll be a lot easier to handle. Right now I'm battling with wire, lots of long wires. But you can kind of see how that's starting to form. All right, which one's longer? Which one? Yeah. Let's go with, let's go with another red. Yeah, another red one. Okay, and down there. About 1/2 inch, fold it over, cross my wires, and twist. Okay, the next one I think I'll do pink. Come back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fold it over. Oops, let's make it a little shorter. Here we go. Fold it. Cross them over the wires and twist them together. All right. Let's make another branch. And start to see it starting to form. Yes, okay. Okay, get my long one. Go pink. No, let's go clear. Clear, clear, clear. One, 2, 3, 4. And fold. Cross my wires and twist. Okay. Getting shorter, yay. Okay, put that long wire. And let's do a red one. This is the last one I'm gonna do on camera because I think you've seen me do this enough. I've done about, what, 10 of them? I think you get the gist. Okay, my 4 beads on. Fold them over. And twist. Oops, wrong way. Whichever wire's on top, just to give you an idea, whichever wire's on top, you twist that one toward the bottom. And that way you know you're not untwisting or unfurling your wire. You want to make sure you're actually twisting it the right way. So I'll make another branch. So if this wire is on top of that wire, then I want to go twist in the direction that the top wire is first. So I can get a nice clean twist here. Let's give it a few twists. Creating another branch. You can see my vine is starting to form. The length is starting to form. Okay, let's give myself another flower here. And they're both almost the same length again. Good. The one thing that you want to avoid is not paying attention to which ones are longer, because then you'll end up with one really long one and one really short one, and that doesn't work out so well at the end. So you want to watch when you're making your flowers, when you're making your cherry blossoms, make sure that you alternate between the wires and continue, always use the one that's longest for your next flower. Okay. Fold over. Cross the wires and twist. Let's make another vine. This is the last one. So I know that's the one that I used last time, so I'll be using this one for my next flower if I can keep track of where it is. Away from me, away from me, away from me, toward me, away from me, and toward me. I'm gonna have to check. Okay, getting ready for my next flower. I think this one should be pink. This is the last one I'm going to do on camera. Then I'm going to do the rest of them off camera and come back and show you how to finish your bracelet. How's that? So once again, put on my 4 beads. 2, 3, 4. Oops. Get back here. Slide my beads up away from my stem. Fold them over. This wire's on top. it's facing that way, I twist in the opposite direction. For my stem. Here we go. Another flower. I'll give it another twist or two to get it down there to the stem, to the branch, I mean. Okay, let's go with, what do you want to go with this time, color-wise? I'm going to do another pink one. Check my length. This one's longer. I keep saying I'm going to do the rest off camera, and then I just keep on going, don't I? I hope you're not too bored. What I really hope is that you're doing this along with me. That's what makes it fun. And I feel like I'm with like company. 4 beads, slide it down. Fold it over. Extra long stem. I don't want it to be that long. Scoot over. Okay, cross them over. This wire's on top. The wire tail is coming towards me, so I'm going to twist away from me, the opposite direction of the tail of my wire. Okay. Make another stem here, or another branch. I keep calling them the wrong name. Okay, let's make another branch down the center. And get back over there. See, they're both about the same length. So what color should I put here? What do you think? Red? Yes. All right, I'm going to put you out of your misery, and I'm going to do the rest of these little flowers off camera. And then I'm going to come back and show you how to complete your project, how to finish up the ends, and how to do your clasp. Okay? Back in a jiff. Okay, here we go. Ready to finish it up. I've got all of my cherry blossoms finished, and I'm ready to finish the other end of my bracelet. So what I can do, if you need more length, you can add jump rings. That's up to you. But and as you go, as you're doing this, you want to check and make sure your bracelet is going the way you want. This one's pretty close. This one is a little further apart because, well, that's just because the way it turned out. Because this is supposed to be a cuff, so it doesn't have to go all the way around. It just depends on what you want. But mine is pretty close together, so I don't need it. If you can see that. There's the end, the other end. And I am still going to make a clasp, so I really don't need it any longer, and I don't need any extension on it. So what I'm going to do is take my ends and make a loop on the other side. And the way we're going to do that is to just take the two ends, twist them together a few times. I can make it as close to this side as I want, or depending on how much extra length you need on the other side, that can determine how many twists you put in it. Mine doesn't need to be too long. So once I have my branch made, I'm going to take one of my, spread out my ends. I want to make sure I have a good 2 inches in order to make my loop on the other side. So I've got, from here, I probably had 2 inches. Let's see here. Yeah, I have about 2 inches. There we go. Yep, 2 inches. And I'm going to take one of my ends and make a loop. So I'm just going to go down. This one's pretty good size, about 3/4 of the way down my pliers. And it just needs to be big enough for your clasp to fit through. Okay, so I'm going to kind of choke up a little bit on my wire and just give myself a little bit of a bend, maybe about 1/8 of an inch of wire there. I'm going to go down about 3/4 of the way down my pliers and grasp my wire and make a loop. So I just wrapped my wire over the top of the pliers, made a loop here, like so. And now what I'm going to do is take my square pliers and grasp my loop. And I'm going to wrap the loop wire around the stem just a couple of times, and then cut it off, cut that tail off as close as I can get. So I'm just going to cut that off nice and close. I'm going to tamp that down. Then I'm going to take the other wire and I'm going to wrap it down on top of the first wire. Just make another little stem. And then cut it off. Just going to tuck it in between the other beads here. Just right in the fold. Or just go down as far as you can go. Cut it off nice and close. And then that end, you don't want that sticking up, so just push it down with my pliers. Check it out, make sure nothing's sticking out there. Nice and smooth. There we go. So there are my two ends. My loops on each end. And now I'm going to make my clasp. There we go. Yep. Let's get all these little pieces out of the way. And I'm going to grab some 20 gauge wire. And I'm just going to give myself, because I'm going to make a little decorative clasp. I like this. So I'm just going to make this little guy with the little zigzag in the center. I'm going to give myself about 2.5 inches. It doesn't need to be too much. Just enough to accommodate my little zigzag. I'm going to check out my bracelet again. See, that's nicely almost meeting there. So my clasp doesn't need to be too big. Okay, so I'm going to give myself 2.5 inches. Okay, snip that off. Straighten that out a little bit. And then I'm going to take my pliers, my round nose pliers, and go down to the center of my wire. And I'm going to just go just beyond the tip of my pliers, not too far in, just a little bit. And I'm going to bend one end of my wire back over the pliers, all the way back. And then I'm going to take the other end and I'm going to bend that in the opposite direction. Then I'm going to pull my pliers out and I have this little squiggly thing. I keep saying it looks like the Superman S. So now I'm going to make my shepherd's hooks on each side. You want about a good inch. So get an inch here from the loop to the tip. On this side, I think it's a little longer. From the loop to the tip is just a fraction of an inch longer. I'm going to clip that off about an eighth of an inch or so. Take that off of there. Watch your tail. You don't want it to go flying across the room. Okay. And now I'm going to make my shepherd's hook. So what I want is a wave. Straighten that out just a tiny bit. So I want this to be a kind of a wave around to my shepherd's hook. So this is going right to left to right, and then this is going to go left. So I want to put a little curve in it in the direction that I want it to go. That's just so I can remember. So this is the way I want my loop to go. And on the other side, it's going to go in the opposite direction. So this is going this way. This one needs to go that way. Again, it's up, down, and down. So I'm going to put another little curve in there. So you can see my little wave pattern. And so now I'm going to make my loop that will go through my loop here. I want to make it small enough so that it'll fit through your receiving loops. So now my loop is going to go in the opposite direction of the curve that I just made. So my curve's going up, my loop will go down. So I'm just going to grab the tip of my wire with the tip of my pliers and make a small loop. There we go. Close that up. Just want the end to back up against the wire. Flatten that out. There we go. And then in the direction of my curve, I'm going to make my shepherd's hook. So I'm going to go all the way down to the back of my pliers, just below the ring of my wire. And I'm going to bring the end of my, or the tail of my wire over the top of my pliers. Oh, I'm off camera. I'm sorry. Over the top of my pliers until the middle part touches the ring of my pliers. I have another one to do, so don't worry, I'm going to show you. So there's my one shepherd hook. Going to the other side, again, my little swirl is going one way and my loop's going to go the other. So my swirl's going towards me, so I'm going to turn my loop away from me. Oh, stop that. Okay. My little loop. Just taking the end of my pliers and grabbing the end of my wire. Make a little loop there. Close that up so that the tip is backed up against the wire. Now there's my little curve. I'm going to slide my pliers down the wire just a tiny bit below the loop, maybe 1/8 of an inch. My wire is all the way to the back of my pliers. And I'm going to take this long edge, this long end of my wire, and I'm going to bring it over my pliers. Bend it over my pliers until it touches the head of my wire, the loop of my wire. And here we go. There's my cute little hook. Close that little loop up a little tighter. There we go. There's my little clasp. Slide that on. Now what I like to do to make sure that this isn't going to pop out is take my end, my loop, the end of my loop, and I like to push it just past the wire so that when it springs back, it's nice and tight against the wire so that it won't come out of there. See, it pops in, pop, and it pops out when you pull it, pop. But that way I can know that it's not just going to slide out. If I left it open, like this is a little open, it would just slide in and out too easily. So I want to make sure it's nice, just tight enough so that it won't come out unless I pull it out, but not too tight so that you won't be able to fasten it easily. And where's my hammer? I like to kind of pound it down a little bit. I'm going to lose audio because my computer doesn't like the pounding, but I want to pound it a little bit just to strengthen the clasp a bit. So. And I'm using a rubber mallet because, what did I do? Yeah, I hit a button. Stop that. Okay. I'm using a rubber mallet because I don't want to flatten out my wire. I just want to strengthen it a little bit. And the more you work with it, the more taut it will get. And that's what I want. All right. And I love these S clasps because it doesn't matter which side you put it on. You can be right-handed or left-handed. It doesn't matter because it fits on both sides. And there we go. There's our bracelet. And this is very easy to shape. You don't really have to use anything but your fingers to shape it. And once you get finished, if you check it out and you see, oh, it's a little large, which it's not, but if you check it out and you see it might be a little bit large, you can, what I've done is crinkle up my little vines. See how pretty that is? That is so pretty. And what you can do is just squish them. Squish your vines together. See how I kind of crinkle that up? Because these are supposed to be branches and vines, and they're not supposed to be straight out to the sides. They're supposed to be gnarled like a little tree. So you can just adjust this to the way you want it to look. Isn't that awesome? And that one a little bit. Make it kind of 3D. Neat, huh? I like it. Just a little closer. Okay, anyway, I get carried away. This is our bracelet. Cherry Blossom Festival, here we come. Nice and festive, very pretty. I love it. Let's take a little bit of this space out here. But there it is. There's our bracelet for today. Go out there and enjoy those cherry blossoms. Spring has sprung and we need to enjoy it. So let's do so, shall we? Our little cherry blossom bracelet. I am loving it. Wow, that's sparkly. Anyway, there it is. There's our Japanese cherry blossom bracelet. Celebrate spring. Enjoy yourselves. I hope you'll make this. It's a lot of fun. It's really easy. As you can see, it's very, very repetitive. You just put your beads on, twist, 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 put some more beads on, twist, 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 make a branch, make another flower petal, fold it over, twist, do another one, fold it over, twist, make another branch, and you just keep on going until you end up with this. What could be simpler than that? Make your little clasp. If you want to make a chain, you want to make it longer or something, you want to make a chain, add some jump rings, you're good to go. Beads, wire, and maybe some jump rings. That's really all you need for this one. It couldn't be simpler than that. Lots of fun, really pretty, very colorful, and I hope you'll make one. And please, if you do, please, please, please post it on the Facebook page or send it to me. If you don't do Facebook, I don't know too many people that don't, but some don't. If you really don't do a lot of Facebooking, you can just send it to the email, and I would be more than happy to post it for you. And again, we're going to have some little something else for people that do make the pieces and post them on the website or on the Facebook page. I'm kind of working something up for that because I want to give you some incentive. Okay, so thank you for watching. I hope you come back. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you tell us how you liked it and what you liked about it. What you didn't like about it, please. I need to know. Can't correct it if I don't know what it is. But enjoy the rest of your week, as I usually say, and your weekend. Enjoy whatever weather you have going on and stay healthy and well. Okay? We will see you next time. Bye-bye.